The Chicago Bulls have made an unexpected trade in trading for Jaden Ivey of the Detroit Pistons, as well as Mike Conley, which isn't going to help the Bulls a little bit too much, but we're going to talk about what this move means for the Chicago Bulls, what it sets up, all and more right after this. What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host here, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into this content right now. Y'all, and the Chicago Bulls have made a move. They've been in their second three-team trade in a week, as the Chicago Bulls are in a three-team trade with the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Detroit Pistons in a multi-team trade. In this trade, the Bulls are getting Jaden Ivey and Mike Conley Jr. for Kevin Huerter and Dario, which are going to the Detroit Pistons. Detroit is also getting a 2026 first-round pick swap, protected pick swap from the Minnesota Timberwolves as well in this deal. So this is not a blockbuster, but this is the Chicago Bulls getting Jaden Ivey. It's probably going to be Coby White insurance. That's probably what I'm leaning at with this, is that the Bulls are probably now all but assured to move on from one of Coby White or Dosunmu here at this trade deadline. So this may not be the last move by the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls have already made one move before this one. This is two moves at one trade deadline for the Chicago Bulls. They turn around and flip Dario, who they just got, and they add Kevin Huerter into that, who's having a really solid season, even though he's not shooting the three ball too well. And you add in Jaden Ivey. Now, I want to be clear here. Jaden Ivey has been struggling this season, only averaging 8 points per game after returning from an injury last year, only averaging 17 minutes per game. If Jaden Ivey can get back to the player it looked like he was last year in his third year, where he averaged 17.6 points per game on 46% shooting from the field and 40% shooting from three, then of course he averaged 4 rebounds, 4 assists as well, and almost a steal per game in 2024-25. If he can get back to being that level of player, there's definitely a future for him here in Chicago. We just got to see if he's going to be able to do that. As far as Mike Conley's just there for salary matching. It's nothing major there when it comes to Mike Conley. Yeah, you get another guard in here, but I don't think that it's going to – Mike Conley may never even play. They may buy Mike Conley out. They very well may buy him out. So I don't expect very much from Mike Conley, but the Chicago Bulls, for what it's worth in this trade, they get Jaden Ivey in this trade. And considering what we heard about and talked about on today's daily episode, where the Bulls are committed to moving on from one of Coby or Dosunmu, there you go. Now, I want to be clear here, though. Jaden Ivey is still a restricted free agent at the end of this year. So the Bulls are going to have to make a salary decision on Jaden Ivey at the end of this season with him being injured and not playing a lot. So I don't know what that's going to look like for this team. But, hey, we'll see what happens there. But this probably does all but assure that one of Coby White or Dosunmu are going to be on the move for the Chicago Bulls, man. They're going to be on the move for the Chicago Bulls, and that's just what it comes down to, man. So look out for that one. This is probably not going to be the last time you see my face in the next couple of days. I've talked about Jaden Ivey being Coby White insurance for almost a year now, as a possibility there. But it just sucks that it's coming off of a struggle of a season for Jaden Ivey. But, hey, we'll see what happens there, man. We'll see what happens. Mediocre Self says, so we got an aging vet and the most expendable Piston. Hopefully this won't be the last move. First of all, you look at shit so negatively. He's expendable only because they don't want to spend the money on him. Let's be clear here. Jaden Ivey last season before going down with injury was looking good. Was looking damn good. AK Cook, bro, I won't say that this is cooking either. I'm not gonna gas it like it's a great trade. It's a solid move for the Chicago Bulls. It's a solid move. But we got a lot that we still need to prove, man. Mike Conley's not solid anymore. I'm sorry. You're living in the past. Mike Conley's terrible right now. He's a terrible player. Mike Conley's bad. He's terrible. He's very terrible. He's not a good player right now. Hopefully we get Missy, but with Ivey, does that mean Mathurin isn't the move anymore? Yes, this probably does mean that Mathurin isn't the move. The Bulls probably looked at what they can get. They got Jaden Ivey without giving up any picks, so that probably means that now wait a second, hold on, because what if they turn around and reroute Jaden Ivey in the Ben Mathurin trade. So it's possible that they could do that too. So I'm not going to say it's necessarily off the table. The Bulls could very well look to move Jaden Ivey as part of the Ben Mathurin trade if Ben Mathurin is still a target. So I won't say never, but I do say that this lessens the chances of possibly getting Ben Mathurin and him being the target there. So there you go on that one. Someone said Mike Conley Jr. is solid. Yeah, they crazy thinking Mike Conley Jr. is solid. You broke this news. Are you new here? I break news before ESPN sometimes, bro. But yeah, we break news fast here, man. Can we give him more minutes than what Detroit was giving him? Sure. I mean, if you look at it, even if nothing else changes at the trade deadline for the Bulls, he's probably going to step into Kevin Huerter's role. So there you go. There you go on that one. There's got to be a third trade in the works. I never say never, but with this Bulls team, you can't take things for granted how they look either, right? Bro, Coby my favorite player, but Io's been having a better season, although Coby has been hurt all season, so honestly, I don't know. I mean, that's fair. That's very fair, bro. I feel your confliction on that one, man. Do you really trust Jaden to get back to where he was? I know why he's not playing well this season, but I know why he's not playing. What? I know why he's not playing well this season, but I know why he's not playing well this season, but I don't know. First of all, Shay, what the fuck, bro? I mean, listen, he's young. And the injury that he had does usually take a while to recover from. So, we'll see. In my opinion, we're obviously setting the table for a more significant move. It does seem that way, right? Like here's the thing to look at it this way, right? If the Bulls are setting up for a bigger move, if they are, let's say that they are trading with a team that wants a bunch of young pieces. The Bulls have tons of young pieces now. You got Jaden Ivey at 23. You got Coby. You got Io, right? You got one of those guys. You got first-round picks. You got veterans that you can match salary on. And keep in mind, Jaden Ivey is still technically an expiring salary. He's an expiring contract right now because he goes into restricted free agency. So the Bulls have basically maintained all their cap flexibility. They have not affected any cap flexibility as things stand right now. So there you go on that one. Just a solid move, but can turn out really good. Ivey will be able to show his potential like last season with the minutes we can offer. Hey, that's probably the hope. That's definitely probably the hope. Does Ivey play more defense than don't? Ooh, I wouldn't call him a defender at all. I wouldn't call him a defender. He's also undersized. He's 6'3", right? He's a little bit undersized. So there you go on that one. If Mike Conley is going to stay here, I expect him to have a similar role to how Javon Carter had it. Fair statement. That's a fair statement. Fair statement there. I'm worried about Jaden's injuries, but he's so much better than Coby. I can't say he's better than Coby. I'm not. Now, I will say this. He shot the three ball at 40% last season, but again, we're going off prior seasons. If you go off Coby's last season and Jaden Ivey's last season, when they were both fully healthy, Coby had a better season by far. By far. But I will say this too, though. It's not just about who's the better player, who's the better fit. Is Jaden Ivey a more natural fit next to Josh Giddey than Coby White was? That's the question that you're asking here if you're indeed moving on from Coby White. So it's not necessarily just about better. It's also about who is going to be a better fit. Does Josh Giddey, Jaden Ivey, and Dosunmu fit better than Josh Giddey, Coby White, and Dosunmu, right? That's kind of the question that you're asking for here. If that ends up being the plan by the Chicago Bulls, that's what you're looking at. That's the question that you're trying to really answer here, right? What do you mean pick a direction? Is that a serious question? Third trade, if we can get rid of Vooch, but I think we have to attach Coby or Io because Vooch doesn't seem to draw interest alone. So that's the thing. You wouldn't attach Vooch. If you're trading Coby, you're trading Coby as the main piece. Attaching Vooch to Coby actually hurts Coby White's trade value. So look, I need everybody to realize you're probably not moving on from Nikola Vucevic at this trade deadline. He's probably going to still be a Chicago Bull. I need everybody to come to that. It's going to be there. It's going to be there. SG Walker, that's not a direction, that's a goal. That's not a direction, that's a goal. Everybody wants to win more and develop. Every single team in the league wants to win more and develop. Every team. A direction is, hey, this is our style of play. This is how our roster fits. This is our core guys that we're building around. That's a direction. The Bulls don't have a direction yet. We have some good players. There's still questions on how they fit. We're still missing several things for those guys to even be evaluated correctly. So we don't have a direction yet. We have goals. which every team has goals. We don't have a direction yet. Kevin Huerter and Dario Saric gone. We got Jaden Ivey and Mike Conley. Yes. Oh, Dario Saric is gone in this deal as well. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Huerter was playing good defense. Yeah, Huerter was playing great defense this year. Say what you will, and say what you will too. We got a lot smaller after this trade. Kevin Huerter's what, legit 6'5", 6'6". Jaden Ivey's a questionable 6'3". So we're getting smaller. And keep in mind, the quote from Nikola Vucevic today was the Bulls want to get bigger. We got smaller. So there you go on that one. Question, I don't know. I don't follow basketball as much as I follow football. Is this another Bulls move to keep us average? Does this make us any better? I won't say that this is the move that yet makes us clearly better because, again, Jaden Ivey is still coming back. Like, he had offseason knee surgery after a broken fibula, and so he hasn't been himself quite. What this does is that this gives the Bulls more assets, meaning that now if Coby White still wants that $30 million, which I, even as a Coby White supporter, will say the way he played this season is going to be hard to ask for $30 million. But now you can pay Io the 18. You can probably retain Jaden Ivey for probably about 15 himself, and so you're paying those guys combined just a little bit more than what you would pay for just Coby White. So it clears the deck. Now we got to see. That's why I said this. It feels like something else is coming after this. It feels like. I could very well be wrong on that, but it feels like something else is coming after this. Casey Johnson said the Bulls are still active on guard talks. Coby probably get exactly, and that's probably the feel around here. Is Coby White's probably getting traded for sure. Vikram says, I hope this actually makes a difference for us, man. It's been so ass being a Bulls fan in the last 10 years. It has not been all ass, well, at least not for me. I mean, I can only speak for myself as a fan. It hasn't all been ass. The 2021-22 season was a very fun season for the most of that. But, hey, we got to see if it's going to get us a next step, man. Right, they literally picked a direction. They have not picked a direction yet. They picked a goal, not a direction. I've never seen AK like this. It's nothing crazy. But, no, we have. People forget, AK's first year here, he made 3 moves at the trade deadline. He moved Daniel Gafford. He moved a bunch of players, right? He got Nikola Vucevic. So we've seen, and then the following offseason after that, getting DeMar DeRozan, getting Alex Caruso, getting Lonzo Ball. Like, AK started off very, very active. Very active. And then that's why it was so loud when he died off and stopped making moves. How much has this move for Ivey caught you off guard? I mean, so only because the rumors have kind of focused on Ben Mather and it caught me off guard. But if you go back to the beginning of the season, go back to my videos where I was like the biggest questions for the Chicago Bulls. When I talked about players that the Bulls could target if they know Coby White wasn't in the long-term plans, Jaden Ivey was one of those guys. Jaden Ivey was always one of those guys that I thought could do that. So not to toot my own horn because I don't get credit because I haven't talked about Jaden Ivey for probably about 3 months. But in the offseason, when we were having those discussions about, hey, what if they do decide to move on from Coby, Jaden Ivey was always one of those guys that I thought that they could try to acquire to get that. And then he's had an ass season, so it made him a little bit easier to acquire. If you would have traded for Jaden Ivey, if Jaden Ivey would have never went down with injury last season and the Bulls tried to do this trade in the offseason, it would have been a Coby for Jaden Ivey straight up swap. So you get him now for Kevin Huerter, Dario Saric. You send no picks in the deal at all. If he does return back from injury, it says a lot. But that's a big if. That is a very, very big if. We don't know for sure, but that is a big if, right? So that's why I want to make sure I label everything that if Jaden Ivey can get back to who he was in 2003-24, it could be a really good trade for the Chicago Bulls. You definitely was the only one talking about it. Hey, listen, like I said, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I will say what actually happened. I was talking about Jaden Ivey this offseason. It's just that's the reality of it. Is Ivy even healthy? I know he's had a major leg. Yeah, I mean he's been playing. Let me see what his game by game looks like. He's just not playing a lot of minutes, but yeah, he's been playing. He basically played the whole month of January. He's played 1 game in February so far, but they've only had 1 game in February. He played a lot of games in December. So he's playing more than he's not playing now. He missed the first 2.5-3 months of the season, but he's playing more than not playing now. But he's just not having the same scoring punch that he had last year before he went down with injury. Jaden Ivey is going to turn into a star. Hey, if it happens, it happens. If it happens, it happens. I dummy like Ivy for some reason, man. F Jaden Ivey. So wait, you do like him or you don't like him? You dummy like somebody and then say, man, F them? I don't know what you're trying to say there, brother. Just tuned in. I love Jaden Ivey. Guy gets to hooping, but someone's got to explain Mike Conley. Oh, Mike Conley's just there for salary matching. Mike Conley, somebody said it, and it was a great thing. I can't take credit for it. Somebody said it at the beginning of the stream. Mike Conley is now our Javon Carter. That's all that is. He's there for salary matching. He's not long-term money. His contract expires at the end of the year. The Bulls could buy him out now if they wanted to create another open roster spot. So Mike Conley's only there for salary matching. Nothing else, nothing more, nothing less. That's all it is. But now, here's what I'll throw to you guys before we end the stream, right? If the Bulls get Yves Missi, let's say that they do make another trade, they go all in, they get Yves Missi, Day'Ron Sharpe, one of those guys, one of the guys that reportedly can be gotten for second-round picks. If they get one of those guys next, how do you feel about this trade deadline for the Chicago Bulls? How does that make you feel about, again, no completely direction-altering moves, but some solid moves. So if the Bulls wind up with this trade deadline and all they gave up was Kevin Huerter and who do we send out to get Dario Saric? We just waived Javon Carter, right? Was that it? Oh yeah, Emmanuel Miller. So if the Bulls turn around and use the second round picks that they got back for taking on Dario Saric, and they get Day'Ron Sharpe or Yves Missi, and then your total offseason is you basically got Jaden Ivey and Yves Missi for a couple of second round picks and Kevin Huerter. Is that a good enough move is that how do you, not good enough, but how do you feel about that being the trade deadline for the Chicago Bulls? How do you feel like that? Let me know what you guys think on that part down below. But all right, y'all, we're about to go do Locked On Bulls. Hold on, we got a super chat. ISO Noah says, so this definitely means Coby's going to be traded for another move. Do you think something else will happen? We were talking about that at the beginning. I do think that it's a possibility. I won't say for sure because it's the Chicago Bulls, but I do think this sets them up to possibly make another move going forward. So we'll see. We'll see. But thank you guys for tuning in, man. Make sure you guys are following us at Bulls Central Pod. You send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullscentralpod@gmail.com. And lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We're the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related, but that's thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like I like to end every episode on, go Bulls. Love you guys. See you right if you can, y'all. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.